10 down with just 10 left to go. And you know, if you guys haven't watched part 1 of this video, you should probably go do that before you continue on with this. And quickly, just a reminder that this is a list of my favorite games, not necessarily the best games on the system. We're doing one game per franchise, and this list will not have any imports. Famicom can wait for its own list. So with that behind us, this is my top 20 NES games of all time, part 2. Number 10. Battletoads is an interesting game. It's essentially become shorthand for really goddamn hard, and that's not at all undeserved, especially with the 2-player mode. But what people really remember about this game, myself included, are the great controls, awesome soundtrack, really varied gameplay and level design, and just the style overall. My friends and I played the living crap out of this game back in the day, and we were always excited to see what each new level would bring. That is, when we could actually make it to the next level. Number 9. Xanadu. It's the Xanadu game for the Famicom, and then the NES. One of my best friends from elementary school actually rented this one way back in the day when local video rental stores were still a thing. You could pick up one of the new NES games and have it back in like 3 to 5 days. But he would ask his mom to take it back and check it out again and again. And yeah, it's a big game, and it's got whatever the hell these things are. And while the graphics may not be great, there's something I just love about the look of this game. Maybe it's the theme or the use of color. To me, it's just really compelling. Number 8. Hey, Capcom, guys, leave some classics for somebody else, would ya? Bionic Commando is an action platformer where your character cannot jump. But who cares when you have a bionic grapple arm that can do stuff like this? You know, I sucked at this game when I was a kid, but the gameplay was so fresh and so unique, I honestly never noticed. Unsurprisingly, the soundtrack fucking rules, and the main character's name is Rad Spencer. And yeah, I know it's technically Nathan, but who the hell doesn't just call him Rad? Yeah, that's what I thought. It has this great non-linear stage progression and all these new weapons you can find and use. This game is so good. Number 7. Little Nemo, the Dream Master. Now, isn't that just a great name for a video game? This is a game based on a movie, which in turn was based on a comic strip from the early 1900s. And it is yet another example of why Capcom was arguably the third-party king back in the day. You play as the eponymous Little Nemo as you travel through the 8 stages of Dreamland, my favorite of which being Stage 4, the Night Sea. I have always been a sucker for seascapes at night. And as I was saying, you travel through the stages feeding candy to animals to either ride them or become them? And what the hell is going on here? And despite some minor NES-era BS moments, these levels are really well designed with interesting play mechanics and a kick-ass soundtrack. This is an amazing classic. Number 6. I'm sure you all knew at least one of these would be on here, and honestly, Castlevania 2 almost made the cut. But this game, it is one of the best examples of NES difficulty. It will smack your ass and call you names, but you know that if you die, it's usually your own damn fault. It took everything that made the original Castlevania such a fantastic experience, and it just improved upon it. There are branching pathways, multiple playable characters, tough as nails gameplay, all with some of the best music on the system. Nothing else really needs to be said. This game is excellent. Number 5. There is a reason why Metroid is often used to define an entire subgenre of gaming. This game is as groundbreaking as anything else on the console. Most people cite Super Metroid as their favorite in the series, and while that is a masterpiece in its own right, for me, nothing beats the original. This game is almost depressing in how lonely and claustrophobic it feels, due in no small part to the lack of any sort of map. But I like it that way. Having to find your own way in the hostile depths of planet Zebes without anything else to guide you just really enhances the entire experience for me. Now, if only they had opted for a battery backup and kept the save slots from the Famicom Disk System original, but you know, that's a minor complaint towards what is an amazing game. Number 4. I decided for the purposes of this list to treat the Capcom Disney games kinda like their own series, and Ducktales really did inch out some classics. There was actually a point in my life where I would beat this game once a day. Yeah, I would come home from school, relax with a playthrough of Ducktales, and then go about the rest of my evening. There's just something about the way this game is designed that when the controls click for you, it's almost zen in how smooth everything is. You get to pogo jump, you get to smack stuff with Uncle Scrooge's cane, not to mention the music and the graphics. I'd go as far as to say that this is almost a perfection of the genre, which is why this game is beloved as it is. Number 3. This was a really difficult decision for me. Both the second and third Mega Man games stand out as two of the best action platformers on the system. But one had to come out on top, and for me, that is the classic Mega Man 2. This time, the number of Robot Masters has gone from 6 to 8, the level design is massively improved, the music is masterful, and the bosses are almost as iconic as Mega Man himself. Despite a couple of notable design flaws, this game is damn near perfect. Number 2. Yeah, you all probably knew that this one was going to be on the list, and while it didn't make it to number 1, it really only missed out by a hair's width. The original Legend of Zelda is a masterpiece. It's hard to explain to people who weren't gaming back then how mind-blowing this game really was. I had never played anything like it before this. There was a massive overworld to explore that opened up as you obtained new items, hidden secrets are everywhere, and the dungeons, the bosses. And if you ask me, it still has the best non-linear exploration of any game in the series. This game just sticks with me in a major way, even after all these years. Number 1. For me, the original Super Mario Bros. Is the first thing that comes to mind when I think about the Nintendo Entertainment System. I know it's not the most original number 1, but hey, you gotta go with what you love. And while it didn't exactly create the genre, it did define the modern 2D platformer. The majority of games on this list owe their very existence to this amazing little game. And while it may be relatively simple by today's standards, it's still very, very playable and a lot of goddamn fun. This game means a lot to me. It represents a very important time in my life that's since passed, and while that may seem a bit silly, it kinda feels like home. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This was a bit of an experiment of me creating a countdown, and I'm going to put together a few smaller lists later on. But thanks for indulging me in this. The next video will be a full review, so please click subscribe if you haven't already. Say hi to me on Twitter or Facebook, because I think you're all gonna like what's coming next.